Hello, my awesome artists. This week, we are continuing what we started last week. If you remember, we are inspired by a new artist named Roy Lichtenstein. And he was inspired by something called pop culture. Do you remember what pop culture is? If you're thinking it's popular culture, you're correct. So that means movies, music, fashion, magazines, music, I already said that, advertisements, those are all pop culture. So he was inspired by comics as his popular culture. Comics back then were all in print, so they were in comic books or in the newspaper. You get the comics, the little silly drawings of the comics. You can still see the comics in our newspapers today. Our comics today look a little bit different. We have it in print, but we also have a lot of online comics. We are finishing up our action word project. So I did pow, but you could do boom, pop. Those are all great options. So last week we outlined our letters, and this week we will color it in. If you remember, Roy Lichtenstein is inspired, and he uses a lot of primary colors. So, do you remember what primary colors are? If you're thinking they are yellow, red, and blue, ding, 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 you're correct. I also give you a hint because you saw this. So the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. So you only need those three colors plus a black marker for this project. So let's get started finishing this up. This is where we left off last week. We had our word outlined with black marker. So this week we are going to color it in. So remember, we are only using primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. So you could choose to color in your word with red, yellow, or blue. I'm choosing red, and I'm coloring in the white part, but leaving the black, the solid black, because that looks like shading. And last week we made some funky, almost looking like spiderweb shapes in the background. And you can color those in however you would like using the primary colors. I'm using watercolors, but use whatever supplies you have to color that in. If you'd like, you could add a little bit of extra powness or popness. So I'm doing these almost like reverse clouds. So they're pointy instead of soft on the edges. And I'm coloring those in. I drew it first in pencil, and I'm coloring it in with marker. Once you have colored your little pow pops shapes in, outline it with a Sharpie. That makes it look a little bit more like a comic, and it defines its edges. Just like that, yep. And if you'd like to add a little extra something, I'm going to show you how to draw lightning bolts. And I'm going to do this first in pencil, and it's a zigzag line next to a zigzag line, and they connect at the bottom. So zigzag, zigzag. Pretty easy. It can be challenging if you've never done it before, but it's worth a shot, and that's why we did it in pencil first. I'm going to color that in with one of my primary colors and outline it once again with my Sharpie or black marker or black crayon, whatever you have. This reminds me, we need to line all the pencil lines with our Sharpie. So I did use a watercolor, so I had to wait for that to dry anyway, just so I didn't ruin my marker. And once you are finished, I forgot, there's another thing you can add. So we have our reverse pow clouds, our lightning bolts. You could also add stars if you would like, because that is seen in his artworks and in comic books too. So I started off by doing my regular star. Everyone has their own way to draw stars, so do it your way, however you know how. But I am doing my star, and then I did it in pencil. I outlined the edges. Then I erased the whole star, so then just the Sharpie is left. Then I colored it in. And that is our project. Good work. We are all finished with our comic action word. I can't wait to see yours, so make sure you take a photo of it and submit it into our Google Classroom. I hope you had fun. Bye!